really excited about today's video because we are gonna do a how to style curly hair / girl chat part 2, because if you guys remember part 1, I wasn't able to fit everything in that video, so we're gonna multitask today. Hoy, we're gonna do the how to style curly hair while answering questions. And you guys, these are the 2 products. I did want to start off by saying what products I'm using. This is not my usual go-to products. These are just the products that I happen to use this week. If you guys saw my Dominican hair care review video, this leave-in, I didn't really end up liking it by itself, so I was like, you know what, let's try pairing it up with a thick cream. I like the one from Way, and we'll see how they work together. I did the palm test and they work great, and we're gonna answer some questions too. The first thing, we're just gonna jump into it, okay? We're gonna jump into it. There's no waiting for nothing. I just want to jump into everything. And the first thing that I want to tell you guys when it comes to styling curly hair is to section your hair, because let me tell you, I have noticed the difference that that my curls have when I don't section versus when I do. When I do section, my curls have more definition, it lasts me longer, my wash and go, I don't have to repeat it as much. When I don't section, my curls are kind of just blah. But I also like to section my hair because it also helps your hair. When you're sectioning, you're making sure that every single part of your hair is getting the product, and if it's a good product, reaping the benefits of that product. So we're just gonna put our hair into space buns. Ooh. Ooh. If you guys remember my usual spray bottle in my videos, I actually have not been able to find that one. So this one's from Target. It wasn't more than $2. They also have it on Amazon. Let me know if you guys want me to link it for you. But whoa, you know what? Let's put a towel on. I don't even care how I look. Let's put this towel on. The first thing that you want to do, I always like to tell people, your hair should be soaking freaking wet when you're styling your curly hair. You always want to make sure it's soaking wet. Make sure you don't forget the roots when you're wetting it. I think that the best way to get the best results is by making sure you're not applying the product on super dry curly hair. Let's answer some questions. And the first one is really good because the question is, how has the transition been moving away from all your family and friends? I don't think it's been that hard of a transition because I'm still in touch with the friends that I'm friends with. And I will say that I miss my mom a lot. Like, me and my mom probably talk twice a day now. I feel like that's the one thing that has been a little bit more difficult, is like I'm not as close to my mom, distance wise. But the transition hasn't been that hard, you guys. California is not new to me. I've mentioned this before, but I was raised in the Bay Area from the age of 5 to 12, and I know that that's very different from LA. But California is not unfamiliar territory for me, to where like I moved to the state not knowing anything. Like, I've always told myself that I was eventually going to move back to California when I was younger, and that's exactly what we did. And so I'm actually happy that I made the move. And with me just being 2 weeks in, I can't really tell you fully how I feel about the transition. I feel like right now, you know how dating relationships have honeymoon phases? I feel like I'm low-key in the honeymoon phase still of like having moved here. I'm so excited. I'm getting to style my apartment. By the way, we're going in with the Way Cream. I'm getting to style my apartment. I get to meet new people. Like, I mean, right now I'm just having fun. But let me tell you something that I have experienced, that I kind of realized, I guess I should say, from moving. I've always been a firm believer that people are only in your life for a season. You know, I've always said that, you know what, not everyone in your life is forever. But it's so funny that I'm the same person that says that, but I've never experienced that. Like, I've never experienced just having someone in my life seasonally and then not talking to them anymore. And I'm kind of experiencing that right now. And it's been like really, I feel like it's been really interesting to experience that, because I'm like, I've just never dealt with it. And unfortunately, the reality is that not everyone is going to be supportive of you. That's the one thing I will say has been like the transitional thing. All my friends who I'm close to, I'm still in touch with. Like, we still talk. I was literally last week talking to one of my friends, Danny, and we were just catching up like, hey girl, what are you doing? How are you? She's supposed to be moving to Houston soon, which means that we'd be a little bit closer. But like, I'm still in touch with my friends to where I don't feel, well, the friends that I'm still in touch with, I don't feel like I'm missing them as much, because we're still in touch, if that makes sense. By the way, this is a Tangle Teaser. I didn't even tell y'all what brush I'm using. I'll link it below, but this is a Tangle Teaser. I love it because you can also detangle and styled. You don't need 2 brushes for each occasion, you know what I mean? So we're done with the bottom. Honestly, sectioning does not take that long. It really doesn't take that long if you once you master it. I like sectioning in 3, you guys. So the bottom is done. Now we're gonna do this one, and then we're gonna do this one at the end. So let's put this one up. And I just want you guys to know that you don't have to section your, if you're someone who doesn't like sectioning their hair, because I will say this, it does take a little bit longer. You don't have to do the 3 like me. You can even do the 2, like 1 on the bottom, 1 on the top. But I'm extra, and because I want to make sure that my curls last the whole week, the whole weekend, I'm actually gonna make sure that I section in 3. But you don't have to do that if you don't want, or if you just don't have time for it. Porque yo sé that washing hair already, at least for natural hair, is already a task. That already takes forever. Okay, but I want to answer the next question, which is making friends post-college and or outside of work. Ooh, I love that question, because a year ago, you guys, when I graduated from college, I realized that adult friendships are a lot harder than what I expected. Okay, in college it was so easy to make friends. There was always people around me because I was super involved. There was people here, people there. But once you graduate from college, you really have to go out of your way to make friends. And then once you make those friends, you have to learn how to sustain those relationships, because it's not just, oh, I had a good time with you and that's that. You actually you gotta give effort and consistency to those types of friendships. And it's so funny because adult friendships, I really have started to view them as relationships. Like, the only difference between a romantic relationship and the platonic ones that you're forming is the romance that's involved. But other than that, platonic relationships take work. They take work, they take good communication. One thing that I've been super adamant about now that I'm making like friends as an adult, like, we gotta talk about the type of friends that we are. Are you the type of friend that wants to see me each week? Are you not the type of friend that wants to see me each week? Are you the type of friend that wants to talk on the phone at least once? Like, what? Not what are your boundaries, but what is your friendship style? That is so important to ask someone, especially as an adult, because you guys have your own commitments, you guys have bills to pay, y'all got jobs. Like, so here's one piece of advice that I would give after what I just said, which adult friendships are not easy. Put yourself out there. I feel like I probably tell you guys that a lot, but that's what's been working for me. You have to put yourself out there, especially, and I'm telling you, it's coming from someone who, I have a job where it's just me, the camera, and y'all on the internet, and I don't have coworkers. So making friends is not something that I get to do in the workspace. So I literally I've had to go out of my own way since I graduated from college to build these relationships that I have now. And I think that a great way to do that, if you're someone who maybe has like a similar job like me and works from home, Bumble. Try the Bumble. They have a friend section, and it actually is not horrible. It's kind of like dating, but the only thing is that this is like friends. Bumble. Make sure that you're attending community events. Are there volunteering opportunities? Your church, because I know a lot of churches, it's more than just going to a Sunday service. They do a lot of things throughout the week. If you're someone who maybe even hasn't found a church and you're looking for one and you still haven't found friends, make sure that you get involved with the church that even has these programs or these things already going on. It's all about putting yourself out there. It's all about making sure that you also realize that it takes time and that you have to be patient, because I feel like a lot of times, especially after college, I can talk on that, we feel like we kind of put this sense of responsibility that we had to make friends as soon as we get out of college. But the reality is that that's not how it works, you know? That's really not how it works. I feel like for me, after I graduated from college, it probably took me like 4 to 5 months to really start making like my friends after college. And some people actually have to deal with it for a longer period of time. By the way, we're just wetting it. Some people have to deal with it for a longer period of time, but for me, 5 months was a lot, because you're talking to someone who was super used to just being around people. And I feel like after I graduated from college, I realized that I really took that for granted. I really took for granted how easily accessible people were in college versus when you graduate and you really have to like get into your big girl panties and really tap into adulthood, because I've said this multiple times, but you really don't tap into adulthood until you graduate and you got bills to pay. And then bills is not what you was paying in student living, okay? Don't force a connection with someone. I'll say that. I think that that's another thing. We will try to force these relationships. Me. We will try to force these relationships because sometimes we can find ourselves in desperate situations where we just want to be able to say that we have friends. And that is one thing that I've always really prided myself on is I don't care if it's just one friend. I don't care if I only get to say that I have 2 friends. If those 2 friends are the most solid people in my life, I don't need 10. I don't need 20. So make sure that once you really start putting yourself out there and that you're hanging out with these people, that you're actually compatible with them and that you actually genuinely like them as people and not just hanging out with them because you want to have someone to hang out with. Just make sure of that, you guys, because let me tell y'all, girls nowadays unfortunately will hang out with each other because aesthetically it looks good, but don't even really be liking each other as people. Woo! Child, we live in that generation. Yeah. Y'all, look at this hair. Getting a thumbnail out of this because what? My hair has gotten mad long. But I want to answer another question before I style my hair, and it says, what are your biggest icks about guys? Girl, I got a lot of them. Mira, I think that the number one thing, and this is not just for guys, this is for guys and girls, but if we're talking about guys in dating and in friendship, I don't care what it is, the one thing that I do not like is a liar. Oh, y'all, when I say that that's one of my biggest icks, is a guy who lies, and it's so unfortunate, but a lot of us as women will deal with men who will put up this facade, who unfortunately will lie to you about things. And for me, I've always been a person that's like, what is the purpose behind even lying to someone when you could just tell them up front what it is? So for me, that's one of my biggest icks. It's one of my biggest icks because a lot of men do it. You know, I was dating this guy once who he hurt my feelings, but I was glad he was honest. I really, really appreciated his honesty because I think that for the first time, I had finally experienced a man who was being honest with me. I was dating this guy. It didn't end up working out, obviously, because, you know, your girl is single. But I was dating this guy, and we randomly got into the conversation about the fact that, you know, I kind of wanted to be exclusive. You know, I mean, I think every girl wants to be exclusive. So we were talking about, I forgot what we were talking about, but we brought it up, like, are you talking to other people? I asked him, and he was straight up, and he told me that he was. And I promise you that had it been another guy, had it been how guys usually go about that, he would have lied to me and told me, you're the only girl I'm talking to. You know how men are. You're the only girl that I'm talking to. So when he had told me that, obviously I was disappointed because I'm just the type of person that my dating style, I can't date multiple people. It's either we're all in or we're not. And even though I was upset about that, I really appreciated the fact that he was honest about it. He was also older, you know, and I hope that an older man, he was 28. He was 28 and I'm 23. I was like, I hope an older man is a little bit more mature about conversations like that. But I just really appreciated that because I've always dealt with guys who've lied to me, you guys. I've always dealt with it, and I can really go into it. But that's one of my icks. My second ick, if we're talking about guys in relationships, right, that you're dating. By the way, look, this is how I'm doing it. And I'm going to finger coil the front. But this right here. My second ick is bad communication. Communicate the issue. Communicate the problem. Are you talking to other women? Communicate that with me. Do not waste my time. Is this something that I say or do to you bother you? Communicate that with me. I remember dating this one guy who just, his communication was so bad, but he was also very insecure, and so I feel like I always had to tippy-toe around him when it came to certain stuff that I'd say to him. And I remember this one time, I forgot, I just blurted it out, y'all. I used to be the type of person that I used to not think about what I would say before I said it. I've gotten a lot better at that, but we were talking about something and I just blurted out to him, I'm like, you know, you're very insecure. And that triggered something in him, and I'll never forget that his reaction to that was like, I'm leaving. You know, he was staying over at my apartment and he decided, you know what, I'm gonna leave. And I was like, did something that I say bother you? He was like, I'm just gonna leave. I just want to leave. Ended up finding out that me saying that to him actually triggered him, Like, I actually had to like force that out of him though. I had to force that out of him, that bothered him. But I dislike that so much, because so many of our problems in relationships, whether it's platonic or romantic, I feel like they would be resolved if the other person or the two people in that relationship were able to just communicate the issue right away. So that's one of my icks. One of my other icks though, and I feel like, I think this is every girl's ick, is bad freaking hygiene. I just like that in people, period. But girl, have you ever been around a musty man? I don't wish that on my worst enemy. But the next question is, do you have any tips about insecurities? I have so many, and I want to feel confident. Girl, it's okay to have insecurities. Everyone has them. And I have insecurities, your friends have insecurities, your mom probably has, everyone has insecurities. It's a part of the human way. I think that if you're trying to work through those insecurities, then we can talk about that. But I just want you to know that there's nothing wrong with having insecurities. I feel like it all just comes down to making sure that you're embracing it little by little. The reality is that when you're a person who has insecurities, it's not going to be something that just because you told yourself and you woke up today that you want to get rid of them, that you get rid of. It takes time. And I would say that make sure that you're also surrounding yourself around positive people. A lot of times, unfortunately, we as women will surround ourselves with people who trigger those insecurities. That's just the reality. We'll be in relationships with men who will trigger those insecurities. We'll be in friendships with those people who trigger insecurities. I feel like a common piece of advice that I give you guys is who you surround yourself with. I'll never forget seeing this quote. They're like, the quote stated, "What's more important, the journey or the destination?" And the response was the company. Because I just am a firm believer that with everything in life, who you surround yourself with can really either, and I think I mentioned this in my last video, help you level up or keep you stagnant. When you are around people who speak life into you, who are positive, who remind you that you're amazing and that you're capable of all these things, it helps you so much. I don't think that people understand that the people that we surround ourselves with can really either help us or sidetrack us. And so I think that when we're talking about insecurities, it's also about who you surround yourself with. Because I know a lot of people who will be so insecure, and then they'll be in these relationships with men that know that those are insecurities, and they'll get in fights or they'll do this, and they love to bring up the insecurities of that person. They just love it. But it's a day-by-day thing, girl. Confidence is not something that happens overnight, and it's something that you really have to want and work through to achieve it. I feel like that would be my best piece of advice when it comes to that. I can't believe I'm done styling my hair. It's like me going from question to now like showing you guys the curly hair results, but this is what the curly hair is looking like. I actually think that this combo looks a little bit better. We'll see if my curls look a little bit better than what it did when I individually used this leave-in right here, because I didn't like it by itself. Sometimes, I'll tell you guys this, sometimes curly hair products work better with another product versus just by itself, and I'm coming to realize that, because I'm a girl who loves doing one product wash and goes because my hair is fine, so I don't really like heavy products. Well, I have medium hair. I don't like really heavy products, and so I try to go as light as possible, but sometimes you need to do too. That's seco de pelo, and you guys know what? We're not done, because one thing I like to do is pick my hair right after it has been diffused, because I'm a girl that likes volume. Some girls like the curls flat, some girls like me love the volume. I'm a volume girl. So we're gonna go ahead and pick it. Look at how it's already starting to get bigger, you see? This is the final look, but I want to now declump the curls a little bit more. There. Let's answer this last question while I do that, and it's, would you be open to doing a girl chat video with other popular YouTube influencers? Well, I'm not a popular YouTube influencer. That's what I'm working my way towards. But I really, and it's so funny that you asked me that, because I was literally having this conversation today, but I really want to, let's do it from the back. Let's declump a little bit from the back. I really want to start collaborating with more creators now that I'm in LA. I've been asked that multiple times, which is really interesting, and let me know in the comment section, how would you guys want me to collaborate with other creators? Like, what would you like to see? Let me know. But now that I'm in LA and there's a bunch of creators here, I would love to collaborate with more people. Just because I feel like, I don't know about y'all, but I was a part of an era growing up in YouTube where all the Latina creators were collaborative. Like, they were collaborating with each other. I remember I used to get so excited to see 2 of my favorite influencers in one video, and I feel like we've kind of, as an industry, strayed away from that. It's kind of now influencers doing their own individual thing, and I really want to bring that back because I used to be so excited about that. So I would love, of course, to collaborate with other people that would also love to do it. I just think that I want more insight from you guys, obviously my audience, on what you would want that collaboration to look like and what you'd want it to entail. Because I feel like if I'm going to do a collaboration, I want it to make sense. You feel me? Like, I want it to make sense for you guys, and I want it to make sense for my page. And so just let me know what you guys would like to see in terms of collaborating with other creators. But I'm touching my hair a little bit. I will say that you can also go like this a little bit. Shake it. Mira, you see? What I need is oil, but I don't have it on me right now. Now this is really the final look. But yeah, that's the answer to that question. Yeah, sister girl, I would do it, and I actually plan on doing it now that I'm in LA. But this is the final look, you guys, and it was, I mean, this video was not that long, but I hope you guys enjoyed it. This is really easy, you guys. Once you really have like your routine down pat when it comes to your hair, it becomes so much easier. I promise you. I hope that this video helped, and as always, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.